The peripheral nervous system consists of the nerves and ganglia outside of the brain and spinal cord. The main function of the PNS is to connect the central nervous system, or CNS, to the limbs and organs. The PNS divides into two categories, somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system is the part of the PNS that is associated in sensory nerves and motor nerves. The autonomic nervous system is further divided into two categories, parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. In this video, we will discuss three examples of responses to different kinds of stimuli. The first example will show the withdrawal reflex when a pain receptor is signaled. The second example will show how the parasympathetic nerves act on the gastrointestinal tract after eating a full meal. The third example will show an example of a sympathetic nervous system response to a stimulus during a fight or flight response. This is the peripheral nervous system.
What you just saw in the video was withdrawal reflex. As soon as the hammer hits the finger, a painful stimulus activates nociceptors in the finger. Then, action potentials are generated in efferent pathways, which propagates impulses to the spinal cord. Then, spinal cord serves as the integrating center. Hereafter, efferent neuron stimulates A. Excitatory interneurons which stimulate motor neurons to biceps. Then, inhibitory interneurons are stimulated which inhibits motor neurons to triceps, and then interneurons that are part of ascending pathways to the brain. Then one efferent pathway stimulates biceps to contract. Other efferent pathways lead to relaxation of triceps by preventing counterproductive excitation and contraction of this antagonistic muscle. Then the biceps and the triceps are effectors. The resultant flexion of elbow joint pulls hand away from painful stimulus. This response completes the withdrawal reflex.
Oh my god, this is pretty good. Smells good. Who would like to have a piece? Anybody?
It smells so good, I'm salivating.
This is jollof rice. It tastes good.
Yeah, not only smells good, but it tastes better too, actually. Nothing like orange. I am so full right now. Shouldn't be eating all this. Woo.
I'm sleepy.
My stomach is filled up. I just need to stretch on my bed.
No, I feel sleepy right now actually. I'm so relaxed.
What you just saw in the video was gastrointestinal autonomic reflexes. The uppermost part of the gastrointestinal tract and the rectum are controlled principally by autonomic reflexes. For instance, the smell of the oranges that Suraphil and Miss Acusia were having, along with the rice that Josephine was having, initiates signals from the nose and mouth to the vagal, glossopharyngeal, and salivatory nuclei of the brainstem. This in turn transmits signals to the parasympathetic nerves to the secretory glands of the mouth and stomach, causing secretion of digestive juices sometimes even before food enters the mouth.
This is the neural control overview of the PNS acting on the digestive organs. Special senses activate the cerebrum, which then activates the brainstem. When food enters the digestive tract, chemoreceptors, tactile receptors, and stretch receptors are triggered. This sends signals to the digestive organs from the parasympathetic nerves. This is what causes the students to become sleepy after the meal.
The fight or flight response, also known as the acute stress response, refers to a physiological reaction that occurs in the presence of something that is terrifying, either mentally or physically. Essentially, the response prepares the body to either fight or flee the threat. It is also important to note that the response can be triggered due to both real and imaginary threats. In response to acute stress, the body's sympathetic nervous system is activated due to sudden release of hormones. The sympathetic nervous system stimulates the adrenal glands, triggering the release of hormones, which include norepinephrine and epinephrine. The result is an increase in heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate. This is seen in the video as Peripheral was being chased by Ray. Peripheral's heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing rate increased, and he chose to flee rather than fight. After the threat is gone, it takes between 20 and 60 minutes for the body to return to its pre-arousal levels.
Here is a brief overview of the fight or flight response. The hypothalamus activates the sympathetic nervous system and the adrenal cortical system. The sympathetic nervous system then activates glands and smooth muscles and the adrenal medulla. The adrenal medulla releases norepinephrine and epinephrine into the bloodstream. After the adrenal cortical system is activated, the pituitary gland secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH. ACTH arrives at the adrenal cortex and releases about 30 hormones into the bloodstream. Neural activity combines with hormones in the bloodstream to make up the fight or flight response. The peripheral nervous system, also known as the PNS, consists of the nerves and ganglia outside of the brain and spinal cord. The main function of the PNS is to connect the central nervous system, or CNS, to the limbs and organs. The PNS divides into two categories: somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system is a part of the PNS that is associated in voluntary control. The autonomic nervous system is divided into two categories: parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. In this video, we discuss 3 examples of responses to different kinds of stimuli. The first example showed the withdrawal reflex when a pain receptor is signaled. The second example showed how the parasympathetic nerves act on the gastrointestinal tract after eating a full meal. The third example showed an example of a sympathetic nervous system response to a stimulus during a fight or flight response. Hopefully, these examples give clarity about how the peripheral nervous system work in these specific situations.